seeing yesterday Ryan Zimmerman's retirement, we're very, very proud of him. What he accomplished is just truly amazing. The fact that 88 days after wearing our uniform on this field, he makes his major league debut and stays there for 17 years. It's just really unheard of. And then it's how he did it. Ryan Zimmerman is all class in everything that he does. The way he played the game on the field, his leadership, his poise that he played with, and then I always say that you can tell a lot about these professional athletes at the highest level about do they make their community better, and you can certainly say that about Ryan. He made 17 years in Washington, D.C. He helped make his community better, and what better thing to say about somebody, and just really, really proud of him, and looking forward for him to come back here and get his degree and be an undergraduate assistant coach for us. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But
what about some of the stuff he's done here at UVA behind the scenes in the community that maybe some people aren't aware of? I know he's donated a lot of money and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, through his Zim's Foundation, he's raised a lot of awareness, a lot of money through his foundation that is then went directly to the UVA hospital. So I know that he's passionate about that, and that's tied to his mother, and he's just immersed himself in that, and a lot of people have, and it's made an impact in this community, made an impact on a lot of people. For our baseball program, and our athletic department as a whole, he stepped forward and really helped us as well. Our indoor hitting facility has his name on it, and other things as well because of his give back to our baseball program and the university as a whole. So really
special. Have you had any chance to talk with him since he announced that?
I haven't had a chance to talk with him on the phone. He did send Coach Mack and I a message 2 nights ago, the night before his retirement, letting us know that he was going to do that. And he was back here this fall for a football game with his family and got a chance to spend some time with them then as well. So just really proud of him, and I know he's kind of looking forward to that next chapter in his life. Don't know what that is.
What about him as a player, as a person, kind of makes him have the impact that he's had over his career?
Well, I first and foremost, as a player, I think he was an incredibly hard worker, and he was gifted. But I always speak to the presence he had, right? There was a calming presence that I thought that he always played with, and when he was here at Virginia, it rubbed off on his peers. Now, when you have a high level of skill, it's a lot easier to be that way. But he was just such a great leader, whether it was here or with the Nationals, and to see him be the first draft pick of that organization, and to then have it come full circle and then win a world championship, I just think speaks to the type of person he is and his leadership ability.
Looking ahead to this weekend, do you have a plan for the pitching?
Yeah, our rotation will be Brandon Neek will start game 1, Nate Savino will start game 2, and Brian Gursky will start game 3, all 3 left-handed starters.
Have you ever gone 3 lefties like that before?
No, have not, and you like it if they certainly, everybody talks about there being an advantage being a left-handed pitcher. There's a couple of reasons why that is, and if they control the running game and execute, I like it. If it's, who knows where we'll be at next weekend or the weekend after, but that's how we're starting out, and I like where it's at.
How happy are you this early with the pitching staff heading into the season?
Yeah, I think in the preseason our pitching's done a nice job. It's hard to measure when you're out here against your own team. Some days you feel like, boy, I really like our pitching, it's really good, and we don't have a very good offensive club. But I like where they're at. I think it's going to be a pitching staff that's going to be very good. I think it's going to be a combination. It's going to be kind of a sum of all the parts that's going to make it. It's not going to be 1 or 2 guys that are going to just carry the load for our pitching staff. So I like where they're at, and they need experience. They don't have a lot of experience. Brandon Neek hasn't thrown that many innings for us. Nate Savino's probably thrown 75 innings in his career, and Brian Gursky's a transfer from University of Southern Cal, and he didn't pitch a whole lot there. So there's talent, but they're lacking some experience, and I'm excited for them to get that.
Who are some of the other guys that are maybe pushing for those starting spots, be it in the midweek or maybe challenging some of the weekend guys?
Yeah, the starting stuff early on is a little bit difficult because they're all on pitch counts anyways for the first few weekends, and so you got to kind of chop the games up anyways, and so you need somebody coming behind each one of them that can throw multiple innings too. But I would say Jake Berry is a second-year left-handed pitcher that has had a really good preseason, and he's going to pitch out of the bullpen for us this weekend. I think he's going to be a real weapon for us, but he's somebody that certainly we can move into that role. Matt Wyatt is another one that has some good experience, that has really good stuff. Will Gerdace is a transfer from Columbia that I think is going to help us a lot as well, and could potentially start. So there's a number of them. We just got to kind of see how it plays out. I've always believed in these early weekends that you need somebody to get off to a good start, but they're only going to go 4 or 5 innings, and then they pass the ball to somebody else, and we got 4 or 5 more innings to play. So it's kind of like splits it up. You're in some way you're using 5 or 6 starters kind of to get to the games, to get to a potential closer.
Wyatt, the closer to start?
I'm not going to say Matt Wyatt is the closer. He's going to be limited how much he's going to pitch early on, and so my plan will be to use him this weekend in a 1 or 2 inning capacity. There's other guys. Dylan Bowers is another transfer, a big imposing right-handed pitcher that was really good this fall. He's been very good in the preseason, has some ability to do that as well. Will Gerdace is somebody that I think could be a little bit of a chameleon that could start for us or throw extended, but it could also finish a game. And I like Jay Wolfork. I think Jay can come in and throw an inning or 2 and has the kind of stuff that could potentially finish a game for you. So right there, talking about the pitching, I've talked about 10 different guys that I think can do the job for us. It's a matter of us spending the first few weeks to figure out what roles are those and who is best suited for each individual role.
Do you have Nick hasn't thrown a lot of innings.
Yeah.
What just impressed you about him, just coming off of last season's performance in the postseason?
Yeah, well, certainly it's easy to point towards his outing against Old Dominion in the regional was one of the most dominating relief outings I've ever seen in college baseball. And that said, that was incredibly impressive and hard to do, and he'll have that forever. He's progressively gotten better and better here. He came to us out of high school with shoulder surgery, which knocked him out for his first 2 years, and he's just progressively continued to develop. For me, with Nick, it's his poise. It just doesn't seem like any moment is too big for him, and he's got good stuff. He's left-handed, and he's got a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and a good slider and good changeup, and I think he has the makings of somebody that can be a real good starter in our league.
How has he earned? Because there's a certain significance, even if it's just symbolic, of being the opening day guy.
Yeah.
How has he earned that distinction?
Well, he's earned it because he's been in our dugout for a number of years, knows what it takes. Obviously, stepped up last year in a big moment. It's hard to say per se they earned, because there's a lot of guys that did great things, and my responsibility is to put it together for us to have a chance to win each individual game. And so who's coming out of your bullpen, we could have a conversation, did they earn it more? But if you're going to win college baseball games, you better be really good out of your bullpen. And so sometimes you do things that in the back half of the game to give you maybe a better chance to win more consistently.
Do you have an update on your shortstop spot?
Yeah, Griff O'Farrell will start the first year from Richmond. He'll start at shortstop for us game 1. He's done a nice job. He did a great job all fall. He's a good leader for an 18-year-old that his first year in college baseball. He knows what's going on. I anticipate him probably leading off for us and playing shortstop, and that's a big responsibility. But he's an accomplished football player in high school. He comes from a real athletic background. Played in a collegiate summer league this summer, and garnered some really nice things. And so he's done what he's needed to do to earn that opportunity. So I have a lot of confidence in him.
How about third?
Third, Jake Geloff will start at third base. He's done a nice job in the fall. He did a really nice job in the preseason, and obviously there's good pedigree there. Jake came to us as an infielder. He played first base, out of necessity for us last year, and so he'll get the nod there on Friday.
How are you expecting to make, for the first years, to make an impact this weekend specifically, but then maybe throughout the season as well?
Yeah, well, there's a number of them, really. Obviously, with Griff O'Farrell starting at shortstop, he's one that'll make a significant impact. Casey Saki is another infielder, outfielder that I really like the way he swings the bat. Colin Tuft is another one that is a catcher outfield that I think will impact us with the bat. And then a switch hitter, Ethan Anderson, is going to really impact our lineup. He's our backup catcher option. He's a first base option at DH. He's the young man that came to the university a year early. He should be a senior in high school, and enrolled an entire year early, and he has earned opportunities to be in our lineup right away out of the gate. So I like what he can do. There's other guys too that are going to be, kind of role players to start off, and we'll just have to kind of see how it develops.
Where did Devin Ortiz fit in pitching-wise?
Well, Devin's scheduled to pitch out of the bullpen this weekend. He's one of those guys that like I said, that can keep a game in check in the middle part of the game. So we'll look at that, and then potentially what he might need to do for us position player-wise as well factors into it. But he'll be a relief candidate this weekend.
With him pitching more, what's your plan at first base?
It's a kind of a number of guys. We have some versatility there. Devin Ortiz certainly can do that. If he's not on the docket to pitch, he'll play some first base. Alex Tappan is another option, either a corner spot in the outfield and first base, and then Ethan Anderson's another one. So the three of them, depending on is Ortiz in the pitching mix type thing and what we want to do with the outfield. That's the nice thing. I think we have a number of position players that have good versatility that can play a few different spots. So.
And just with this weekend, the opponents you'll play, Bellarmine, Gardner-Webb, NJIT. Just kind of some thoughts on those three opponents.
Hey, it's a fresh college baseball season for everybody. Certainly we've done our homework on returning rosters and watched some video and things like that. I'll tell you, this early part of the season, I don't get too much into it. It's about like us, how we play, and our team. Certainly, I know what NJIT did last year in the NCAA regional. Certainly gave Arkansas quite a scare. And I know the coach at Gardner-Webb. He's from the Northeast, and he's one heck of a coach, and they're building something down there. And so we'll just focus on us and go down there and try to play good baseball and get better.